friends. Today was Superhero Day at CC, and I love Spirit Weeks, and it's so much fun. My daughter was the Flash, and then she also wore a big, giant shirt of her daddy's that's her favorite, because of course he was and is her hero. Well, I wore the Star Labs shirt, and when I put it on, she said, "Cool, Mom. Barry Allen wouldn't have even been the Flash if it weren't for Star Labs." And then of course I wore a sweatshirt of Mike's as well. And this sweatshirt has special meaning because of all this yucky paint. And when she's very artistic like me, and when she saw the paint, she was like, "This is so cool. Dad was so cool." And I said, Dad's not the one that got his sweatshirt all messed up with paint. That was me. So this represents the fact that he loved me anyway. So there's nothing more heroic than that, right? Well, today we're going to talk about how much you love your body and your soul and your spirit, and how much you are willing to do to be a hero or a self-sacrificial, what am I looking for? Advocate or holder-upper of good things, feeder of life to your body, and even more than that, your spirit and your emotions and everything. So in 2015, I started doing a talk. It was in the late winter, early spring. It was just sort of this download of information that was like, oh, this is cool. And it was based on the number 511. And you can read about that on the pages that I have on this website. And I was thinking, you call 411 for information. Well, what would 511 be? I hadn't even noticed that when you travel, the travel signs along the road say call 511 for travel information. And I didn't even know that. And then when I saw that, I was like, oh, wow, cool. Because we need to be on a journey, and we need information to help us along the way, or to get unstuck when we're stuck. But the numbers 511, I was thinking, well, where do we first, what's our easiest place to recognize need? Well, it's our five senses. We see stuff, feel stuff, hear, taste, smell, touch. There's a lot of new information coming out that we may even have more than five senses, but that's in such a physical realm, and I mean, it's right there. We see it, we know it. Something's off, or something's pleasurable, something's great. So with the number 5, I want you to think about your five senses, is if your nose is running, or if something is broken, hopefully not, but if something is sprained or strained or inflamed, you're gonna feel it first in that area. And we have 5 senses, right? So the number 11, we have 11 body systems, and some online resources or medical textbooks will have a different number for that, but I like separating a couple of them that aren't always separated to see the individuality and the interplay of how these body systems work together to heal, and also work together to help where one is lack. So I'm gonna write out the 11 body systems with a short description in the written content that goes along with this video. So make sure you check that out. So if you recognize that you have, say, a runny nose, then you would say, well, I could decide to do what everyone does and go, oh, hey, I have this symptom. I'm gonna run down to CVS or Walmart and get something that gets that to stop. And then we just stay in this Band-Aid situation. And we're very accustomed to that. For generations now, we've sort of lost the art of intuition and of digging deeper. We want a quick fix. We want a fast food, give it to me now, I want it, Amazon, bring it to me tomorrow kind of thing. We want our symptoms to go away that fast, and it just doesn't work best that way. Now, we can end up in a cycle of symptoms and management that spins out of control, and that's actually what got me involved in doTERRA, was seeing that in the generations before me and knowing that I didn't want that for my family. And ever since high school, I've been into holistic modalities because of what I grew up under. So symptom management really is not as effective. So what do? We feed our body systems, because the body was designed to heal itself. And there's so many amazing things. My mom just had a heart procedure, and when they got in there, her heart is so weak. She's been on medications for years and years and years and years and years, ever since she was little, really. But I mean, like one time she was at the doctor and had 33 different prescription medications that they were trying to sort through, and it's just been a really hard journey for her body. And her heart and her brain, she's had a lot of strokes. Those two organs are vital, right? Your body's going to go to your vital organs first to try to keep you alive. And those two are very interconnected. And for her, I was amazed. He came out of the heart procedure and he said that she had several blockages, but there was one at the bottom that I didn't even know the body could do this. You probably maybe do, but it actually created its own bypass over the years. Amazing, huh? It created its own bypass, so there was some flow there, and it was too dangerous to touch. So they were able to put in a balloon in one spot and put in a, what's it called, stent in another spot. But then in this bottom part, the body had actually created its own bypass. Blows my mind. So the body has so much that has already been put in place to attack illness and to keep us well. But we are constantly putting it on the defense. Man, we're just always putting stuff in our body that shouldn't be there, right? And in the world that we live in today, in a lot of areas, we just don't really have a whole lot of choice. But we do need to make good choices where we do have the ability to choose. So one great thing that you and I can choose to be a superhero on our journey is to choose systems feeding. Feed your systems life-giving health instead of just putting a Band-Aid on your symptoms. So that's the number one thing. So your 11 body systems, get to know them, see how they interplay. It's going to take a long time, but we have great resources like if you go to, I'll put the link down here, but I don't remember if it's Aroma Tools or Oil Life. I think it's Oil Life that has, one of them has the Modern Essentials book. That's kind of like the science-y book of essential oils and health. And then there's the Essential Life book, which is like the pretty beautiful tabletop book where you want to sit around with friends and talk about all these beautiful things that you can do. In that one, they have it chaptered out by body systems, which is super cool. So I recommend both of those resources. Get to know your body systems. Okay, so 5 senses, 11 body systems. This is how we can take recognizing that red flashing light and do more with it for ourselves. So we're going to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to do a lot of videos that unpack each of these things. So today is just a quick overview. So 5 is our body systems, right? Gets us on that journey. Number 4, we have our mind, our emotions, and our will. And our mind, I split that into logic, and then we have imagination, which is very different from the logic and reasoning side of our brain. So we have both of those, and then emotions, we have chemical reactions that we can actually do a lot to settle our emotions so that our emotions don't rule us, which is really cool. And then our will and our choices. Sometimes our will and our choices will send us in directions based on a physical pain. We are hurting, we feel awful, and so we are going to pull the covers over our head and do nothing, right? Or maybe it's our emotions that get us to where we make decisions of, I know I shouldn't have that chocolate lava cake tonight, but I'm depressed because of whatever and I deserve it. And so we just, for whatever reason, feed our emotions or make a decision that maybe we shouldn't. Our imagination, how many of you can think of a time when your imagination got the better of you and it fed fear or it fed shame that didn't really exist with the people in your lives, but it caused you to derail and to make some decisions that you regret? Okay, so there's all of these areas. If we don't have something beside ourselves ruling those areas, we can get into some dangerous territory and live very unwell and not whole. So I think part of our wholeness journey is wrangling our healthy body systems and getting them strong. But then it's also wrangling these areas to support our overall wholeness. Well, how do we do that? I put the number 3. There's a lot of Trinity all throughout the world, and we think of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. if you study everything that comes in threes, 3 is the most amazing number. And there's so many things that point to this awesome creator within us and around us and through us, and just the divine that is truly in you that I honor and respect. And just, it's beautiful. So knowledge and understanding and wisdom come beyond us. And this is where, if we start relying and learning about knowledge and understanding and walk in wisdom, then all of a sudden we have reins for this area. We can have a lot of knowledge, but knowledge that's not used is not going to bring us understanding. The understanding happens after we've applied the knowledge. And then as we do that over and over and over, we grow in wisdom and we begin walking more wisely. And this is a journey that I've been working on with my kids since my daughter was 4 and 5 and my son was 8 turning 9. And it's been amazing. I can remember sitting with my daughter by her bed a very specific night. She had been fine all day long and she started to get real annoyed by her brother, and pretty soon her nose started running like crazy. We were doing bedtime prayers and she had a roll of toilet paper and all of this like long line of tissue was hanging off the side of her nose, and she was holding up to her nose, just sniffling and blowing her nose, miserable. She was like 5 years old. And I said, sweetie, there's a bigger problem to your runny nose that we need to handle that will help your runny nose get better faster. So we did the oils and we did put the diffuser together for the night for whatever she needed and stuff. Put oils on her feet. But then we also said, okay, let's look up the emotion of runny nose and nasal stuff. And it had to do with being irritated or irritable with someone that you love, feeling really annoyed, or someone's invaded your space and you just don't like it. And so I said to her, I said, is there anybody that you love that you're irritated with? And she said, J. Michael. And I said, yeah, I can tell. Well, I think, sweetie, that is what you need to take care of tonight. And then that's going to help this. And she, of course, she's 5 and I'm her mom and she's very trusting. So she did. It was awesome. I said, do you want to pray or do you want me to pray? And she said, I'll pray. And I said, okay. So she prayed and she said, Jesus, help me to love J. Michael so I can have my nose back. It was really funny. And then, of course, he came in the room too, and they had a conversation, and she asked for forgiveness and, forgave him for whatever. And the next morning, I was not even awake yet. And as the thing that woke me up, as I was waking up, she is right in front of my face, and I'm just hearing her go right in my face. And I opened my eyes, and here she was in front of my face, and she said, Mom, Jesus gave me my nose back. And she was so excited. She's like, it worked. Well, of course it was a lot of variables, but we supported her needs, her emotion needs, her heart, her will came in line with positive change, and her imagination stopped going to whatever it was going to that made her angst toward her brother grow, right? And then we used things that would support her respiratory system. And then it led to this number 2, 5, 4, 3, 2. 2 is surrender, prayer posture, surrendered posture. If you don't get anything else out of this video, that is such a PowerPoint for us. And so I put the number 2 there because there is a communication between you and the maker of you, who knows what is best and who loves you in spite of all of your mistakes, right? And he will help strengthen you with all wisdom to rein in this area and to know what you need here so that the red flashing light is calmed and you are stronger. So that is huge, the surrendered prayer. When I was doing the holistic health coaching study, there were several things that were tested in the secular arena, and it had nothing to do with Jesus, God, and the Bible. It was just gratitude-based, positivity. And there was a study that was done, and maybe I can find it and put it in the written post, but it was awesome. They were talking about food digestion. So this is, again, interplay. Everything works with each other. It's not like it's in categories like rooms in your house. It's all more like a spider web, you know, it's all connected. Well, in this study, they studied people who just sat down and ate. And then they studied people who took a moment to be grateful for what they were eating, whether they prayed or they just took a moment to be full of gratitude. And the people who expressed gratitude in the form of prayer or meditation or just the expression of thanks, their body actually absorbed more nourishment than those who did not. And I remember that was one of those things, I came home from that training and I told my kids, and I mean, they are just super literal and awesome. And they said, oh, so for a while, of course not now all the time, but at that time, it was like time to get out a snack. And they're like, oh, we got to pray first. It was amazing. And then we joke around about it sometimes if we're like going through the Chick-fil-A line, we're like, okay, we need extra gratitude over this. We're going to get as much nourishment as possible. So surrender and prayer. When you get up from a state of surrender, you are heroic. Every superhero story that we know of, they have a hard time and a self-sacrifice, or they're hidden and they can't even have an out there identity, right? Because through that surrender, they rescue others. It's the epic story that we all go to movies to see. We love it. But it's not always fun to be in the position of having to get low and in that posture. So if we do it willingly and understand the power of that, it just will continue to be something that we love and it grows. So then finally, 5 senses with 11 body systems, right? 4, your mind, your will, and your emotion, but we split the mind into 2 things, logic or reasoning and imagination. 3, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that is beyond your own that will help reign in this area. Surrender, prayer to an outside force who is full of love and is love to help strengthen you for the road ahead. And then 1, you are one whole person and you can walk in healing and take and spread hope wherever you go. There's a lot that you can do. You've built in this awesome layer of self-care that's going to work toward your benefit. And this is my overarching intro to stepping out onto the path. We're gonna dive deeper into these things as we go and ask lots of questions. And I might not have the answers, but we'll find them together. That's part of the journey. Thank you.